Hello fans, friends, and frequenters. Hey, this is Luvern again. I know this is only my third video. I've just been taking a while, been busy on Minecraft as well as in real life, lots of changes going on. But glad to finally get this out. What is sitting behind me is a basic redstone pulsing device that I kind of reinvented, I guess you could say. It's hardly the first time it's ever been appearing. I've seen the same idea in a mumbo jumbo high-low tech video before, but I used it in a way that I think many people could find very useful, and it is a very versatile device. I've given it my own name should it become popular as a result of this. And also, of course, I know Deathbane still isn't appearing. He's actually going to be introducing the next video, the device that this thing behind me was invented or reinvented to be used on. So anyway, let's get right to it. Okay, so here we are above it. The name I've given this thing is called the Yin-Yang Pulsar. And you'll see why that is. Well, you can already kind of see some of the reasons why it uses a lot of signal inversion. But the real reason why I call it that is because it uses these two repeaters in order to modify the pulse, and then, you know, the pulse is typically always on because of this first redstone torch, and then off over here. And this first version of it, there's many different ways to build this, is a pulse limiter. And it works with either a constant or a short pulse. So first off, we'll flip this lever. You can see it does a 1-tick pulse, but only when it goes on this lever. So there we go again, 1-tick pulse, and then the same with the button. And the great thing about this yin-yang is that you can switch the way that it's pulsing by simply altering which repeater has delay on it. So now it is going to be a falling edge pulsar, so on, nothing happens, and then off, you get a 1-tick pulse. And the same here, we'll see it's on a falling edge. Yep, only when the button comes out. And I don't actually understand why this happens, but when you make it a rising edge, it has to be on 4 ticks for that on pulse repeater. I'm sure better redstone engineers would understand that better than I do. So anyways, that's just the first version. Let's go on to a technically pulse limiter for a constant pulse, really good for things like comparators and so on. That's how I'm using it in the invention that's going to be the feature of the next video. Okay, so here we are at the pulse limiter for a constant signal. So we've got the lever, just, you know, once again, it can be, that could be for a comparator, it could be for anything that's going to give a constant pulse, at least for long enough for the repeaters to go off. So you'll see when I flip this lever, and this is a rising edge pulsar, light goes on, and when the repeaters reach, it turns the redstone back on, causing the torch to go off, and your pulse ends. So there you go again. And pretty nice. And then obviously you have to wait for those repeaters to go off before you give it another pulse. And then this one's just the falling edge version of the same thing, and kind of the same idea. And you have to put a repeater here because it's got to grab the signal from this first block. And then now that this is all set up, it's going to have the falling edge signal, same idea. Pretty self-explanatory to build. You just have to have the a signal going directly into this block so it powers the repeaters, and then you have to have this torch here. The same signal is going to turn the torch off. It's going to go all the way over here and change that torch. So really easy to build. One of the things that people are probably going to ask about is, can you use this with a button? Yes, you can. I don't think it's extremely practical, but I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do it, so I did build that. So let's move on to a button version of the same thing. Okay, so first I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison. Here's the pulse lengthener, because it's using a button, it's technically a lengthener, that most people are going to be familiar with, using repeaters going to blocks that power the redstone, and then this repeater powers the same redstone, and then keeping the redstone on, it's going to continue powering the lamp. So hit that, and there you go. Keeps the lamp on until the repeaters run out. It's a really nice design. You do have to put the slab here, by the way. I have not used it for anything. It's kind of long. I prefer using a hopper timer in most instances, and frankly, even compared to my version, which this is technically the yin-yang version used for a button, I would still suggest the hopper timer just for space saving. And so then here we have my yin-yang button version. As you can see, it's a great deal more complex, and it does add a block to the side here, unfortunately. But yeah, you can still see it still has the basic design idea, the redstone torch, the repeaters with a delay. And what this is going to do is when you push the button, torch goes off, lets that item into this hopper. That's going to power the comparator. The comparator will only be powered by one, so it won't go here, it can't get to the torch. But it will power this repeater, which will power our light. And not until the repeaters make it up will it actually give enough signal to turn this redstone torch off, putting the item back. So let's see it run. And there you go. So yeah, that's the same yin-yang idea, just using a button instead. So the one advantage to this particular design, granted it uses one more width of block and then or block space and the hoppers, so it's not exactly conservative, but there is an advantage compared to this more commonly known pulse lengthener, is that at 3 blocks you can see it has exactly the same dimensions, more or less, given, I mean obviously it's worse because of the width, but when you go beyond 3 repeaters, it begins to save 1 block of space by comparison for every additional repeater you add. So if you have 4 repeaters, it's going to be 1 block less, 5, 2 blocks less, and so on. So let's see a bigger version of both of these and do the side by side. Okay, so here we are. Right in front of me is my yin-yang using 7 repeaters. So we're going to be gaining 3 blocks, if I'm not mistaken, compared to the original version you can see back here. And I was wrong about that. It's 4 blocks, so you can see the redstone lamp, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, every repeater above 3 is going to give you an additional block savings, but then of course you are going to have this extra width. So you can see I built this thing in reverse, but anyway, so you can see it run. It puts a nice long pulse there. And then same idea here, but it takes all that extra length to do basically the same thing. So as far as space saving goes, really nice design. Personally, I mean, again, I just built this because I wanted to see if I could do it. I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend the hopper timer. A lot shorter, smaller footprint, does exactly the same thing. I mean, the only difference is, of course, that you have to have the amount of items that you want for the delay instead of just repeaters. But it is pretty nice, and like I said, this basic design back here and the constant pulse version is what I in fact did use in the device that will be the feature of the next video. And it did fit better than any of the other alternatives. I came to a crisis point where I tried to use lots of different ones, and this one was the only one that actually fit. So I know it will be somewhat useful in certain circumstances for different people building different things, but anyway, you know, just another one of those basic redstone devices I wanted to share with the community and see if it helps anybody out. So that is it for now, everybody. I hope there will be some people that find this device fairly useful, and I'm looking forward to the next video. It's going to be really exciting, and it is an awesome device. Not going to tell you what it is right now. It's just a mystery device, but I did, like the elevator, use somebody else's design, and then I just kind of added to it to make it do more. But it's an extremely useful thing, part of Minecraft that not necessarily everybody uses, but I hope it encourages a lot more people to use it, because it is pretty conservative as far as redstone devices are concerned, and it's extremely useful. So keep watch for the next video, guys. Catch you later.